I don't have a lot of thoughts on the January 5th reading, but it did hit me. I directly struggle with this kind of concept of turning a big picture idea into the very specific steps that it takes to achieve that goal. And so thinking about discernment, which I think I've put a little too much weight on in the first few days of this, but thinking about that discernment as the big picture, understanding what to do, and then having discretion as a kind of separate idea of the understanding of how to do it sits well with me. Thinking of those things as genuinely separate processes takes a lot of pressure, I think, off of us to just know what to do every step of the way, period. And I think it kind of plays with the pendulum a little bit, where there's a balance between having maybe a big idea or a grand solution to a problem you're having that would actually be right. Pendulum then swings, and you have to spend some time digging and saying, okay, this is what I need to do, but then how do I do it? And so considering it as a balance, as a pendulum, where you can swing back and forth between those things is helpful to me. Because, like I was saying, it takes that pressure off. And so, because there's less pressure to just do it right every single time, first of all, every single time, right? But in addition to doing it right every time, it takes the pressure from doing all of it at once. It's kind of a stepwise thing where you have the big idea, you apply that in small steps, and then you kind of have the next big idea. And it doesn't have to be a big idea. I'm kind of thinking of this on the business side of things or on the content side of things. But it works everywhere else too, because the big idea in, a conversation with your significant other isn't a big idea. It's just, the thought of, I want to communicate better. I want to be more loving and kind to this person. The discernment there is that. And then the discretion would be actually like, okay, how do I phrase this sentence? How do I actually think about my tone? And then if you think about something even more difficult than that, or even more nuanced, of, okay, I maybe am nervous to talk to people in public, right? Thinking, okay, big picture, I want to get better at talking to this person. Great. I know what I need to do. I need to talk to them. You have to do that, right? You have to overcome that social anxiety. Well, how do you do that? Because when you go into the moment of actually needing to do that, there's social anxiety. There's the fear. And to actually overcome that fear, there's bravery involved. And so I think a big part of wisdom, and maybe we'll see this in the coming days, is courage. It's bravery to have a step of faith in applying the wisdom, exercising that muscle of discernment and discretion, but really primarily the discretion in this case, and just trying. Because regardless of the result, wisdom is fantastic because it's not a results-driven endeavor. Because regardless of the result, you learn and you grow. So it's a win-win game whenever you have the perspective of any answer is an answer that will help me grow in every aspect of wisdom. And I think that that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to take those steps, have faith in his path for us, and to fail sometimes. He wants it to be difficult because, what journey is worth the journey if it's not a little bit difficult along the way? And what much more fun will you have if it's a little bit tough sometimes, or it's a little bit scary sometimes? So this is a hopeful day for me to think about discretion and discernment separately.